Welcome to StarDrive 2. The goal of StarDrive 2 is to build a space empire. As Emperor, it is your duty to explore the unknown reaches of the galaxy and to select which planets you wish to colonize or conquer. This tutorial will help you understand the tools at your disposal. Please note that some parts of the interface will be temporarily disabled to keep this tutorial on track. You are currently viewing the star system containing your home planet. You can also see your starting fleet, which contains a colony ship and an exploration frigate. Let's take a look at your home planet. Left-click it to zoom to the colony overview screen. The colony overview screen allows you to manage your planetary economy. As we explore the various interfaces found in StarDrive 2, keep in mind that this game is rich with tooltips. Hovering over an icon will typically provide you with a detailed description to help you understand it. Let's take a closer look at the interface elements on this screen. The Labor Allocation panel displays an icon for each citizen living at this colony and how they are employed, either as farmers, workers, or scientists. You can hover over the food, production, and science icons for a detailed breakdown of how your citizens are contributing to their production. You can reassign citizens to new jobs by left-clicking on them and dragging them into their new roles. Food is necessary to feed each of your citizens. Typically, one citizen requires one food per turn. Production is used to construct new planetary improvements and ships at this colony. Science is used to research new technologies, which unlock new buildings for your planets, modules for your ships, and other improvements. But we'll get to that soon enough. The upper panel displays the vital statistics of this planet. The size and climate of a planet determine its maximum population and how much food can be produced per farmer per turn. The mineral richness of a planet can range from ultra-poor to poor, abundant, rich, and ultra-rich. Richness affects the amount of production per worker that can be created per turn at this planet. The population growth meter shows you how many turns remain until a new citizen is born on this colony. The number to the right of the meter indicates the growth rate. Hover over the growth rate for a detailed breakdown of this colony's reproductive efforts. The money icon indicates the net profit or loss of this colony as expressed in BC or billions of credits. The approval icon indicates your approval rating at this colony. High approval ratings can result in bonuses to the output of this planet, whereas low approval ratings will result in penalties. Mouse over either of them for a detailed breakdown. The Ground Forces panel shows you which troops you have stationed on this planet. Ground troops can be customized in the Troop Upgrade panel. If you want to rebase your troops or to use them in a planetary assault, you can launch troops into troop transports using the launch button. To do that, you'll first need to build some freighters to serve as troop transports. So let's now take a look at how to build things. The area in the upper right of this screen displays the top item in this planet's build queue, if any. Click the Build button to open the Build Queue management screen. In this screen, you can manage the production of your colonies. On the left is a list of all of the buildings that you can create at this colony. On the right is a list of the various ships and special units that can be created. Left-clicking any of these items will add them to the build queue. Perhaps you could add a few military vessels to your build queue, or a new colony ship. Note that when you do, they appear in the bottom center panel. You can drag items in the build queue to rearrange their build order. When you're done here, click the Close button, or simply right-click a blank area to return to the colony overview screen. Before we finish with this screen, you may notice the large hex grid occupying most of it. This grid displays which planetary improvements have been built here at this colony. You can mouse over any of them for a detailed description of the item, and you can left-click the item to scrap it if you so wish, which might be useful if you need to cut down on maintenance costs or raise funds quickly. When you're done here, right-click to return to the galaxy map. Before we proceed, take a moment to familiarize yourself with the view controls. You can change your view using the W, A, S, and D keys, or by mousing to the edge of the screen. Zoom in and out using the mouse scroll wheel. Click the next button when you're ready to proceed, and I'll reset the camera to show you a few key concepts regarding fleets. At this level of zoom, you can clearly see your home system and the edges of your imperial space. You can also see a number of unexplored star systems. Let's get to exploring, shall we? Start by selecting your fleet. Just left-click the fleet's icon or drag a selection box around it. This will bring up the fleet's statistics panel. Here you can see the ships in this fleet, as well as this fleet's various statistics. Take a moment to mouse over the icons in this panel to understand their significance. If you'd like to rename a fleet, you can left-click its name to do so. You can view a combat ship's details by right-clicking its icon. You can rename your ships in the Display Details panel if you wish to. Fuel is an important strategic consideration when managing your fleets. You can see this fleet's current fuel highlighted on screen. Fleets don't require fuel to move while within your territorial borders, but once they leave the shaded area signifying your borders, your fuel supplies will diminish. Fleets that are out of fuel move very slowly and can only chart a course to a nearby colony or refueling station. Let's now try to do a little exploring. With the fleet selected, right-click any area of the map to issue a move order. A good choice would be to move your fleet into one of the nearby unexplored star systems. In fact, because you have 2 ships, you could split your fleet and issue 2 move orders. With your fleet selected, click on one of the ship's icons in the fleet panel to sub-select that ship. You can now right-click anywhere in the strategy map to split your fleet into 2 and have the sub-selected ship chart a new course. To recombine fleets, you can select one fleet and right-click another. You can alternatively drag select 2 or more fleets you wish to combine and issue a new move order. All of the selected fleets will then move to the selected rally point and merge. The final step before you can begin your game is to select your first research topic. You can do this by pressing F1 to access the research menu, by clicking the science icon in the upper left portion of the screen, or by pressing the spacebar, which would normally advance your turn. Instead, because you don't have any research selected, the spacebar will prompt you to choose something to research. The research screen provides you with 6 different fields of study. You may choose to study a single choice within a single field at a time before leveling up that field of study. Choose carefully, as you will lose the ability to research skipped text in the future. Don't worry, you can still get those technologies, but you'll have to use diplomacy or espionage to do so. Make a research choice and close the screen to continue. Alright, it looks like you are ready to take your first turn. You can click the turn button in the lower right of the screen, but the best way to play StarDrive 2 is to hold down the spacebar to progress turns. The whole galaxy will update in real time when you do. There is no turn order in StarDrive 2. Your first order of business should be to find a new world to colonize. You've got a colony ship and you know how to explore, so get to it. If you want to access some more detailed tutorial information, click the question mark icon in the upper left portion of the screen. You can also access this menu by pressing F5. We'll check back in with you in a few turns to see how you're getting along and to offer some more tutorial advice. I noticed that you haven't yet colonized a new planet. Allow me to make a suggestion. Actually, you have no choice in the matter, so would you kindly click the next button? Wonderful. I've taken a look at the unowned planets that you know about, and it looks like this planet here, or asteroid belt as the case may be, would be the best choice for a new colony. Things to consider when deciding which planets to colonize include the planet's climate and mineral richness, its gravity levels, maximum population, and whether or not it has any special properties or strategic resources available. To colonize a planet, select a fleet that contains a colony ship, and then right-click the planet or asteroid belt that you wish to colonize. The fleet will move to position, and then when it arrives, you will be prompted to confirm the colonization. I noticed that you haven't yet visited the shipyard. Designing your warships is an important part of StarDrive 2. You can access the shipyard in a number of ways. First, you can open the fleet screen by pressing the highlighted button. The hotkey is F4. Once the fleet screen is open, press the large button labeled Shipyard. You can also access the shipyard from any colony's build queue management screen by clicking the pencil icon next to a warship's name. Go ahead and open up the shipyard now. Welcome to the shipyard. This screen allows you to customize the loadout and combat behaviors of your warships. On the right side of the screen, you can see all of the currently available ship hulls. Left-clicking a hull's icon will select that hull. Try clicking around to see the various sizes and shapes of the hulls available to you. When you're ready to move on, click the next button. When you have a hull selected, a list of available loadouts will be displayed in the highlighted area. As you can see, clicking a loadout will load that ship design onto the selected hull. Hulls have 5 sections: fore, aft, port, starboard, and center. Ship sections live and die as a unit. That is, if a ship is taking fire from the left, then the port side ship modules installed there will start to take damage, working from the outside in. If the entire port section is destroyed, and your ship continues to take fire from the left, then the damage will pass on to the center section. When all of the modules in a ship's center section are destroyed, then the ship will explode. The left side of the screen displays the ship modules available for you to install on your ship. You can see that 3 categories of ship modules exist: weapons, defenses, and systems. Let's take a closer look at one of these modules. Select the laser cannons entry to continue. With the laser cannons entry selected, you can see that 4 variants of the laser cannon exist, each with their own statistics, such as production cost, power draw, range, damage, and so on. As always, try mousing over each icon for a description of its significance. You can also see a number of checkboxes in the highlighted area. These checkboxes allow you to further modify the performance of a ship module, typically increasing its performance in some way at the trade-off of increasing the module's production cost or power requirements. To install a ship module, you simply need to select it from the list of available variants on the left side of the screen, and then click an area on the selected hull's module overlay grid. If you want to The highlighted area on the right side of the screen displays your ship's overall statistics, as well as a checklist to help you create a valid ship design. One of the most important concepts to keep in mind is that most ship modules require power to operate. To create power, your ship must have enough power plants installed. The overall positive or negative power generation is listed in the statistics panel. Another key concept is to ensure that all ships have enough ammunition to fire their weapons. Energy weapons require that you have power capacitors installed. Power capacitors act as batteries that are drained when energy weapons are fired, and they fill back up at the rate of your positive power flow. Kinetic weapons like missiles require that you install ordnance lockers. Ordnance lockers are only refilled by visiting a friendly colony, meaning that your heavier weapons might only have enough ammunition for 1 or 2 battles in the field before you need to rearm. The orders buttons allow you to customize the basic combat behavior of this ship. You may specify whether you want this ship to face its target head-on or with its broadsides. You can also specify whether you want this ship to keep moving at all times or to get into position and hold its ground. As a final piece of advice, you should try to balance the strategic needs of your ship versus the combat needs of your ship. For instance, fuel cells will increase your ship's range on the strategy map, but are useless in combat. Likewise, sensors do not play a role in combat, but can help you see threats on the strategy map. Keep in mind that you don't need to design every ship from scratch. Try loading up an existing loadout and modifying it when you want to upgrade. When you're done with your design, enter a name for it and hit the save button. Congratulations for founding your new colony. You may have noticed that this colony is not suited to farming, which means your colonists will starve unless you do something about this situation quickly. The simplest way to resolve this problem is to simply ship food from one of your more agricultural colonies, like your homeworld, to this new colony. This tutorial will show you how to do that, as well as how to effectively use the Empire Management screen. In the upper right portion of the screen, you can see your resources bar, indicating, among other things, the amount of freighters you have available, and the amount of surplus food your planets are producing. The process of moving food from where it's produced to where it is needed is automatic, so long as you have at least one freighter available per food that needs transporting. To solve this problem, you will need to make sure that the workers on a planet that is capable of farming are producing at least one more food than they are consuming. A great way to do this is by using the Empire Management screen. Press F2 or click the highlighted button to enter it. Here you can see all of your colonies and all of their citizens, including your homeworld and the poor starving colony that we need to help out. If you do not currently own any freighters, then the first step to feeding your starving colony is to start building some freighters. You can access any planet's build queue directly from the Empire Management screen. The highlighted area shows the top item in the build queue for each listed colony, if any. Click inside that area to access the build queue for a colony, and then add some freighters to your build queue. You may want to move those freighters up to the top of the build queue. When you're in a bind, you can also spend credits to rush production of an item by pressing the Rush button next to an item's entry in the build queue. The closer to completion an item is, the less it will cost to rush, and the more efficient the conversion will be from credits to production. Finally, to make sure that your starving planet can get food, you'll need to ensure that you are producing a food surplus at one of your other colonies. You may need to reassign citizens from the production or science roles to do some farming. However, once you have some freighters made and some excess food, then the process of supplying your starving colony will occur automatically. But finally, here's an extra tip. Once you do have some freighters in your fleet, you can also transfer population between colonies on this Empire Management screen. To do so, simply drag one or more citizens from the colony where they live to the colony where you want them to live. They'll each need their own freighter to act as a temporary transport. This is a great way to alleviate the pressures caused by overpopulation on your larger worlds.